Good afternoon, Orange County. I am Heather Bell, the acting president and CEO of the Orange County Chamber of Commerce. Today, we are joined by Dylan Lewis, who is the president of Atlas Archaeology. Dylan is a registered professional archaeologist accredited through RPA. Welcome, Dylan.
Hi, Heather. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. I'm enjoying the lovely weather outside.
It's beautiful. Oh my goodness. I'm ready for spring.
I know.
So, Dylan, you've had a decade-long career in archaeology before you decided, to make the leap of faith in 2019 and open your own business. I'm sure that you have some really interesting things to share. So let's just jump right in. Like, what was like the coolest dig that you've ever worked on?
Well, I have to say that one of the coolest opportunities that I've ever had was to work on a collection of faunal remains, which are animal bones, from a Viking Age Icelandic site. And this was mostly an assemblage of marine resources, such as fish bones, seal bones, and the occasional walrus bone. And these are things that the Vikings in Iceland would have been eating.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they have lots and lots and lots of fish bones left over in Iceland from lots of cod or haddock or wing, a number of the fish that they would consume.
So now, did you actually go to Iceland, or was that brought to you?
So the collection was brought to us. It was part of a National Science Foundation grant, and the artifacts were excavated mostly by Icelanders. And then they were brought to the city of New York for analysis. So I had the opportunity to work on them from an analysis standpoint.
And what did you find when you analyzed them?
It's interesting to see the change of resources over time. The Vikings landed in Iceland and it was fully forested. And now I'm sure you've seen pictures of Iceland and it's completely barren, almost desert-like. So in a very short period of time, they deforested the landscape, made way for sheep and some cow grazing, and they had to rely heavily on marine resources to survive.
Okay. Very interesting. And so let's go one step further. And what was the oldest thing that you found or worked on?
So the oldest thing that I've actually worked on was here within the Hudson Valley. I was working on a site in Kingston, New York, where I cataloged and recovered a Charleston corner notch. Now, we have names in archaeology for different types of arrowheads or projectile points. So that's the name of this projectile point. It wasn't an arrowhead because the bow and arrow had not been invented at this point in the Americas. So it would have been a dart point. And it dated to 9,500 to 8,500 years before present, which is very old.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. And now, did you dig that, or was that brought to you?
That was an excavation that was conducted again in the late 80s. So this was a collection that was brought to me to analyze.
Okay.
Yeah.
So archaeology is such a niche field, and as a member of the chamber, we're taking this now into the business side of the conversation. As someone that started their own business in a very specialized field, let's talk about that.
Sure.
What would you get called in on?
Okay. So we're part of what is called the environmental review. That's made up of soil people, tree people, wetland people, and we're part of state section 1409 and the federal section 106. Those are both historic preservation acts. And we're usually called in towards the end of the process, just almost prior to getting approval to build for permitting. And we'll be called in by town planning boards or on behalf of the State Historic Preservation Office.
Okay. I personally am fascinated by history. I've been up to Plymouth and various points and all over Europe. But we have so much history right here in the Hudson Valley. And I know you mentioned the Ulster job, but are there any other local jobs that you've worked on that you want to share?
I've worked in jobs in Orange County, Dutchess County, in Sullivan County, all up and down Columbia County, the Hudson Valley. Another site actually in Saugerties in Kingston that I was, or not in Kingston, Saugerties in Ulster County that I was working on, we found a small Native American campsite. Maybe it was a hunting camp or a place where they found reeds that they would process. And it was right along an oxbow. Now, an oxbow is cool because it's an ancient leg of a river. Mm-hmm. And as storms wash out sections of it, you'll get a little pond in a bow shape that would be that remains of where that river used to be. So in this situation, it was cool because this was a campsite that was made when the river had passed through that land thousands of years ago. And now it was just a little pond.
Wow. I walking through Rome and on the cobblestone streets that hundreds of thousands of years ago our ancestors walked on just fascinated me. So your field is very interesting to me. So who do you work with? Like, what kind of business connections would be ideal for you, Dylan?
So we work a lot with engineering firms, land and real estate developers. Sometimes we'll work with the engineer on behalf of them, and sometimes they'll contact us directly. And other times we'll work with real estate companies as well who are looking to venture out and do a little development. Okay. And the town board usually will hear that they need us first and then relay that information to those engineering firms or land developers.
I have to venture to guess that you'll get some calls from the Historic Society as well.
Sure. Yeah. So, I mean, there are different branches within the State Historic Preservation Office. A lot of times when there's historical societies that are looking to preserve or, make a national registry or state registry of a historic landmark, they can go through us as archaeologists. We can fill out the paperwork for them, or we can network them with the right people at the state to do those things.
Great. And so what types of jobs do you work on?
We work on pretty much any job, all of the jobs. So we could work on a range of jobs such as solar farms, cell phone towers, municipal water and sewer or other municipal sites such as like firehouses or schools, large scale industrial and residential development. It could be warehouses, it could be theme parks, it could be a new a street with several homes on it. And a lot of times when they require the environmental review, they'll also require us as archaeologists to perform a survey to move them through the process.
Thank you so much. I mean, I have learned so much by talking to you today and previous to today when we've got to know each other through your membership, but I never realized how great your field was, how vast it was. And, usually when you hear archaeologists, you think dinosaur bones, but you don't really put so much into it. So thank you for joining us today, Dylan.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you for having me.
All right. Have a great day.
You too, Heather.
All right. And thank you everyone else for joining us. And thank you to all of our members for allowing us to continue to support you and to grow your business, and to our corporate partners, our ambassadors, our board of directors, and for your dedication, your commitment to the mission of the Chamber. Check out our schedule of events on Facebook and our website at orangeny.com. Join us as we introduce you to more members and as we host our virtual speed networking, our master classes, and our ribbon cuttings, and so much more. Thank you again. Have a great day.